What up? This is your boy Checo.
This is your boy Noe. What up?
And this is Compas Unfiltered. Thank you guys for listening, for watching. Make sure you guys follow all of our social media, subscribe and like.
And make sure you go rate us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Make sure you drop a comment on YouTube. Like and subscribe.
Yes, sir. Enjoy the episode. Yes. For a pod, I forgot the fucking name now.
Daily Insomnia guys, maybe out of Rockford.
Oh, it was two guys though. One was like he's like an actor or something like that, and the other guy.
Oh, like in my opinion, one of the guys is
In my opinion.
yeah, one of the guys is a Puerto Rican guy, and the other dude barely talks. Yeah, I remember that podcast.
He would barely talk.
Hello, yeah, I'm trying to get him on, but
but it was I actually liked it, bro, and I actually added them. So like,
yeah,
I
Miguel
like their
Rivera-
flow. I
yeah.
like their flow that they had, bro.
I like Miguel. It was fun, dude, and we did it. I'm trying to get him on, so I am scheduling and waiting for the other ones to come on. So you is that where you saw me first on there, or you just saw me after?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, but I obviously because we're having you on,
Yeah.
so I was like, I got to find out, a little bit more
What's
about
this guy
you.
about? Yeah.
Because obviously your pods, you're interviewing other people. You do talk about yourself, right?
Yeah,
you share
so-
stories, but that one was more like you.
The Jhovany show,
yeah, so they were talking more. You were telling stories or whatever. And the one that I wanted to bring up because I was like, what? Because we actually had this conversation about eating ass.
Mm-hmm.
And you were like, you had your ass ate and shit. And
Oh yeah. So the first time is that the time, or there's multiple? I mean,
that's the first time that I saw that I heard you talking about eating ass, or you had your
Getting my
ass
ass eaten out.
Getting your ass eaten out.
Yeah,
I was like, oh shit, that's fucking wild, bro.
Yeah, I'm really into getting my ass eaten out. The first time I was not into it at all. Like, it was scary. I didn't know what was going on. It was, yeah. So the first time was basically
This guy said it was scary. I didn't know what was going on.
so the first time, the first time I was talking to some Puerto Rican chick, right? So I'm messaging her and I'm saying some nasty shit, kind of pushing my limits about shit I'm not really gonna do. I'm just talking shit, And then say something like, "Yeah, girl, you're gonna eat my ass. You're gonna do this. You're gonna do that. I'm gonna do this to you." Bullshitting. And then I remember one time, we hooked up, and then she had me in the bed. And she turned me over, and I was like, "All right, what's she gonna do?" And then I was sitting there, and then I felt it, right? And I was like, "Oh shit! Like what?" I didn't think she was actually gonna do it. So then she like ate my ass. But the problem is, I don't have a problem. I have my ass eaten now, but it was the first time, and I was on my stomach. It feels vulnerable. It feels weird, right? And afterwards, I was like, man. I was like, am I gay now? Like, for 2 days, I was fucked up. Like, am I gay? What am I doing? Like, it just fucked with my head for like 2 days. I was like in a haze. But then after that, it was like a lot of things. It's like, I don't give a shit, you know what I mean? But I don't like it in that position. If I prefer it, like, not to be too vulgar, I'm sitting down, a girl's giving me a head, and it goes to my taint area and then my ass. I'm cool with that. But laying down on my stomach around fours, I ain't down with all that. So if you're gonna eat my ass, eat it properly. You know what I mean? I don't want it in a weird way where I feel like I had one buddy who was in Honduras. He did it like he like sat over the girl, and after we talk about it after,
shit.
yeah, and he was like, "Why'd you do it that way?" He's like, "I don't know. It was stupid. It didn't make like he squatted over her, and I was like, what?" And I was like, "Yeah, I don't know what I was thinking. It was a mistake, but that's not the way to do it." But yeah,
But the first time that was random, right? So after that, like you kind of knew, like you prepped for it, or was it?
no, like
also
I'll
just
never. I'll always be prepared. Like, I'll never let a girl go down there if I haven't showered or something. Like, it's gross.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, I always have to be showered because I'm dirty, right? I do shower, but I'm a dirty person in general. Like, during that pandemic, like, I started washing my hands probably the amount of times that a normal person does. Because before that, like, I wasn't, I'm one of those dudes, like, I'm not going to wash my hand. I'm building my immune system, blah, blah, blah. But maybe I got a little bit, gets out of control. Like, I would only wash my hands if I took a shit or they got really dirty. Otherwise, I'm not washing my hands. I shower and stuff, but like I'm dirty and I'm brutal on my stuff. So it's, if a girl's gonna eat my ass, I gotta make sure I don't want anything to happen. Like, I don't know if you guys been with girls before you do, like sometimes they don't want to do, like the first time we went out, I hung out with my girl, the first time we had sex, I remember she was like, I think maybe she mentioned, and she was like, "No, I had Taco Bell." Or we took her to Taco Bell. She's like, "No." She's like, "No, that's not going to happen." You know what I mean? I was like, "Okay, I respect
But at least she
her."
gave you the heads up, bro. So that's fucking,
Yeah, because I took her, I think because we went to Taco Bell, she's like, "Yeah, Taco Bell's probably not a good idea." I was like, "All right." I was like, "I'm cool." I don't know how it came up because I've never been an anal person, but it came up a little bit. All right, this Paloma thing is Interesting. I forgot I don't like tequila, so it was probably a mistake to drink this. But I'm not gonna back down. But yeah, it's
It's not that great.
yeah, I was always into Puerto Rican shit, like my ass eating out. Finger stuff, not so much. Like one time it happened aggressively with this girl, and like she put her finger in my ass, and then she went and like I was like, I'm not Puerto Rican, right? So Puerto Rican dudes are all into this.
How would you know that?
Huh?
She told you?
Wait. How do I know that she was gonna do it?
How do you know that Puerto Rican guys?
Oh, I'm
are
friends with
into
Puerto Ricans, dude. I know Puerto Rican. Abby
So they
Sanchez
tell
has a
you-
whole bit about it. Like I grew up with Puerto Ricans and Hondurans. Like I know Puerto Rican.
They
They like that.
yeah,
shit.
they're borderline sus. They're into freaking fingers in their ass. Like I had one friend. You know what I mean? Their eyebrows. It's a thing. It's a thing in the Puerto Rican culture. They like butt stuff. You know
I did
what
not
mean?
know that.
They like arogandula and girls playing with their butt. It's just a thing. You know what I mean? And then and if they're saying it's not, they're lying. But not all of them. But like there's enough Puerto Ricans where it's like it's common.
It's a
Like,
thing.
are there Puerto
yeah.
Ricans in Aurora? Can we say we're in Aurora? Did the
Yeah,
listeners know where we're
they
at?
know we're in
Okay.
Aurora. Yeah.
Okay. It's funny because you guys are like almost not like Chicago, but it's like compadres, la güera, like unexpected out here. It's like Chicago, parts of Chicago like moved out here. Is Aurora a bunch of Mexicans that came from Chicago? It seems like, or do you guys grow up here?
No, we didn't grow up here. I moved out here 4 years ago, man. My wife actually started working nearby, so I just didn't want her to have that long drive. So I was like, yeah, we'll buy a house in Aurora. And now she works from home, so now I got to make the long drive regardless. But no, we didn't grow up in Aurora. Like I barely know any of the streets around here, bro. So
Is there any ass eating going on in Aurora here? Or?
man, I wouldn't know, but I think in general for myself, because we
Oh, excuse me.
we were talking. You're good. We were talking about what the fuck with chingonas.
First partners, like
Oh, your first time.
when not only your first time, but when you only have one partner for like a long time.
But like if you hold out till you get married,
Oh,
and then like how it's like it might not be great, but then we made the argument that you don't know what a great is because it's your first time and you don't know anything else.
That's your only partner.
Yeah, it's your only partner.
like Ben Shapiro, he lost his virginity to his wife.
Did he?
Yeah, he did.
No shit.
Yeah, and his
I didn't
sister
know
has a
that.
huge rack. She does.
All right.
Yeah, they're amazing. But I mean, were you guys were experienced? Anybody here go straight to marriage? No, you guys fucked around.
No. We
Hoes. Okay.
No, he's not gonna say
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, okay,
he was
okay.
just like,
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't hold out to marriage, so that wasn't why we were talking about it.
But no, yeah. So we were just talking about that, but your experience with your first time, and then waiting until marriage, and then I was saying that like how yes, you do experience other girls, and then obviously it's different, right? You know.
Oh yeah.
So then my comment
Kind
was
of.
just like yeah. But I mean, there's girls.
I feel
that
it's different more for women, a little bit, because it's like women could, a lot of women won't come during sex, depending on the dude or depending on the situation. But it's like at the end of the day, no matter how bad you are as a girl in bed, I'm gonna come. You know what I mean? Unless I'm like really wasted, then I'm probably not. Actually, I didn't come for a few years of my life. Now that I think about it. But I'm gonna enjoy it at least, even if I don't come. I didn't come for like 5 years, not in a row. It wasn't like a giant. It wasn't like some what's his name, Sting. It wasn't some weird Sting tantra thing. It just,
shit.
I was like for years. It was all drinking, going out, hooking up, drinking. So with my current girl, it was the first time I had sober sex in like 5 to 6 or year. I don't know. It was like. It was weird to me at first. I was like, "This is scary." Like I haven't had sober sex in like 5 or 6 years. I remember what this is like. So then it was a little bit weird for me, but no, for 5 years it was like people would say, "Oh, she's not good in bed." Yeah, but I mean, she's a chick. She's not bad looking. I get to touch her ass. I'm getting what I want, basically. Yeah, I wish she would move more, or maybe give me head. But at the end of the day, I'm gonna enjoy myself versus like a girl. You're not gonna come. You're gonna have. I feel girls have a lot of regrets. I don't know if you're on Facebook and you see they regret everything they do, everybody they date. I don't have regrets. Like girls I dated, I was like, okay, well, it didn't work out, it was fine. But girls are like, oh, I'm no longer the person I used to be. They like miss some innocent person they were, and they're not anymore. And that's at least with me as a dude. It's like, all right, well, I fucked up there. That was good. That was bad. Well, I wish I wasn't such an asshole like that. But girls feel like they lose maybe because they get older and stuff. They lose a part of themselves, and I see it on Facebook every day. Now I enjoy just watching all these girls on Facebook. It's a lot of complaints about their ex, and they can't believe they dated something like that. But I don't have that language. I don't know if you guys do with exes and things like that. And it was more like, whatever. But
to me, it is what it is. But
yeah,
I just
think for
don't-
most dudes it is. But then with women, it's like this huge deal. Like this guy ruined your life, and I get it. Maybe because we lie a lot, so I could feel how.
I mean, they're fully invested, right?
I think so, right?
And as men, we probably are not.
No,
invested.
we're not. We're definitely. I didn't think about that, right? Because it was like, you know, I was been with women and girls, and until I got with my girl now, it was like, oh, like I was never really ready to commit, I guess. So I'm kind of there. Yeah, I guess I'm there for along the ride, and they're like, oh, this is gonna happen, and it's like, not so much. I'm just here for you to eat my ass. So I'm sorry. Moving on, bitch.
But right now that you're talking about girls complaining on social media and
I love
Facebook
it.
and whatnot,
It's so beautiful. I like watching. I enjoy it now.
you do.
Yeah.
Okay.
I enjoy chaos. It's my favorite things are like going out with my girl and things going bad with other people and whatever and watching and talking about it. I like it. I
You
like
enjoy
it.
the show.
Yeah, I enjoy the show. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
gotcha.
So it doesn't upset me like it used to because I just appreciate it. Like, all right, this is fun.
I don't want to say it upsets me, but it does make me feel some type of way, bro. Like when people vent too much on social media. You know what I mean? I mean, it's mainly women, right? Who
Yeah.
kind of vent, but then you do see the occasional guy here and there. And
I saw a guy post the other day. He was like, and if you're listening, you should be listening, motherfucker. But he posted something about like, man, some long post, and at the end he was like, if you people lived through half of what I lived through, you probably would kill yourself. Like just praise him, how amazing, how strong he is. It's very annoying to me when people kind of praise themselves like that. Like, all right, motherfucker, you went through it. Like I'm that type of person, or at least for myself. And I'm trying to get better because it's important to praise people when they do well, and I don't, because I don't praise myself a lot. I'm very tough on myself, but it works for me. You know what I mean? So other people, it's not going to work for them. They might be like, oh, this is too negative, but he was like, yeah. And I saw some other guy on my, he was friends with my girlfriend. He was like, same type of post. He's like, oh man, I'm a king. You guys don't understand what I went through. And it's like, everybody goes through shit, motherfucker. Like,
right.
It's very, when the dudes do it, it's really, it's like, no, you should get a sniper.
It's kind of cringe, no? Like
It's very
kinda
cringe.
Like, it's just
You
like,
need a sniper. You need a 50 caliber sniper to go through. Maybe just go through your shoulder and teach you, maybe go through some real shit. Maybe you did, but it's like, why are you talking about it on Facebook? In that way, I don't know. Maybe because as a comic, like I'll talk about it, but I like to make it funny. I'm just Facebook and all the long whatever. It gives people all this time to go on these fucking posts, and it's like, oh, this. I just saw one today, and it's Facebook could be very annoying with the long fucking monologue of how whatever you went through. I don't know. Like I wish. Maybe you should have killed yourself. I don't know.
That's fucked up, bro. But I think that's why I'm also like, I'm definitely not on Facebook as much as I used to be.
Mm-hmm.
I'm more like on Instagram and like, I know it's like TikTok for me, bro. That's just fucking addicting. I don't know about you.
I don't like TikTok. I have it and I don't have it. I download the app to upload a video for my podcast and I delete it. It's sometimes my stepson will be on it and it bothers me. Something about maybe that noise that it's a different one. I don't like it. Like it's, I don't mind on Instagram because there's like pictures, whatever, and then there's a video, but it's just video. My brain can't take it. I don't like it. I like YouTube. I like, or podcasts, a little bit longer form, watching a video, maybe some Instagram stuff, but I can't stand TikTok. Plus it's, the Chinese government, like, because that on TikTok in China, the kids who watch it, they get all this stuff about education and whatever.
Stuff, yep.
And over here, they're just like, they're literally making us stupider and making us weaker. And it's like, we're like, oh yeah, but it's, it's fun. It's entertaining. So it's like, all right. No, so I don't like TikTok.
But you do upload on there for your.
I upload and I delete the app because then the app is very intrusive. It goes through all this weird. Unlike all the apps are, like if you notice, if you have Facebook Messenger and you have Facebook, if you say something, look at your Facebook and you'll see an ad for what you said within an hour. That's because of Messenger. That's because of Messenger. That's why they separated the app.
Oh, so it's not because of the Facebook app itself. It's
unless something changed. But from what I remember, that's when they separated the app because for the stuff they wanted to do it, that's why they made Messenger its own app versus the Facebook's. Remember, it used to be all in one app. And they did it separately because they had to put all this other shit, which you agreed to in the terms and conditions. So it's like, we're helping with ads and stuff. Like, go talk about Snapple. That's what I did. I was talking about Snapple, and then boom, Snapple. I didn't type anything. We all know you type shit or you click on something, you're gonna get the ads. But now, if you talk about it, like you get the ads on Facebook.
I see that on Also, like on YouTube though, bro. Like you do get some like little ads in between, like when you're scrolling through the feed.
Yeah.
I'll see that.
Just
YouTube
talking
as
about
well.
it type of thing.
Yeah,
we probably
yeah.
signed up for it and said something.
So it's everywhere, right?
Yeah.
I don't think that's just gonna go away or
I know.
any way to get rid of it.
Yeah, and if you talk, you can't. Yeah, it sucks. I hate it, but it's. I mean, yeah, it's everywhere. It's funny because there's those guys. There's a guy at work today. He was talking about the bail thing or something that's going on in Chicago. I forgot the no bail bond or no cash bond.
Oh, okay. For the Safety Act.
Yeah, his thing is, I was saying like, okay, if you're a violent criminal or something, don't let him out if you're a threat. And he was like, just don't break the law. And I was like, people who say just don't break the law annoy me because it's like, hey, we got a system in the U.S. that people fought for. It's not just don't break the law. There's things called rights, and then it's like you're such a cracker. He's white and he's bald, and he's probably horrible at sex. I'm not saying I'm great or anything like that. Like, but it's you ever see that? Who's a baseball? It was a show on HBO. He was an ex-baseball player. It was the guy who's in all those movies with the mullet and stuff. Danny McBride. So it's Danny McBride, and he played a baseball player. And there's a scene in it where there's a white dude. He's on top of this girl, and he's like, "Are you? Is that good for you? Are you?
I think
yeah." He's like, "Did you come?" She's like, "No." He was like, "I thought earlier, yeah, I was about to, but no." He's like, "Oh, you." He's like, "You want me to keep going?" Or he's like, "If you want." He's like, "All right, I'll stop. Maybe we could do it later." And I was like, that's what I see as cracker sex to me. That's when I think of a white dude in the Midwest. There's different type of white people. White people, there's the Italians and the white trash, maybe a little bit racist. I like those people versus the kind of plain Jane Midwest, like, it's like, come on, dude.
Well, most likely they didn't grow up like I want to say how we kind of grew up.
Yeah, their food had no salt or pepper in it. It's disgusting.
Maybe.
It's no flavor. I'm friends now with white people. I've been to their, and she even apologized, like, yeah, man, it's chicken. I know it doesn't have any flavor. It literally don't, like nothing. It was like, man, like I was at some white place in Kenosha. It's called Frank's Diner, and maybe I had COVID because it was a bit I thought about at the time I was eating. I was talking to my girlfriend. I was like, "Are you enjoying this?" And I was like, "This has no flavor." And I was like, maybe I have COVID, or maybe like I don't smoke cigarettes anymore, but something was bothering me about it. And this place, like I understand like one time you have it, but it's like repeat business, and it doesn't make sense to me. And it's like, all right, it's just the white people don't flavor on their food. Nothing, dude.
They don't believe in seasoning.
Nothing, dude. And I thought it was just a joke or something. But no, I've been to these barbecues. I've been to these houses. And I was like, oh, shit. Like, it's
real.
Spelled, yeah. Yeah, I was not spoiled, but yeah. And I didn't know there was like boring people until I started, like, I went on some Tinder dates. And then I met some girl, and she had no person, or she was scared of me. Now looking back, maybe she was just thought I was going to kill her or something like that. Because halfway through the day we were going, and I turn around and she had no mask. Halfway through the day, I turn around, she has a mask on, and that's when I was like, I did that call. I don't know if you've been. I called my friend. I was like, hey, that pre-care call where he calls you, or I texted him. He's like, oh yeah, I need to go, and it's an emergency. I had to go, but that's like, bitch, I'm leaving. You know what I mean? Like, fuck this.
I actually saw a guy. He makes TikToks, and it's like his mom. They're white. And she's like making chicken. She'll make nachos or whatever, and like legit, like no fucking flavor whatsoever. So I think that's hilarious. But growing up, bro, like you grew up in Waukegan, right?
So yeah, I was born in Los Angeles, and I used to spend my summers kind of back in LA up until maybe 15, or like at least a month there. But I grew up in a place called Highwood up until 5th grade, and then I grew up in 6th grade to high school and post and college. Basically, yeah, Waukegan and this little ghetto weird town called Zion right north of it. I grew up in the Wauk, which is like, it's a suburb, but it's a lot of Mexicans, and there's like ghetto parts. And it's really bad now compared
There's
to
a lot of Mexicans in Zion?
No. Waukegan is. And if you go to Zion, it's black people, white trash, and like weird religious white people, because Zion was actually started by some like very religious people. Zion is in the Bible. It means something. I forgot. But like the center of the town is a cross. It's a church.
Country-ish, no?
It was a dry town up until maybe it might still be a dry town. Like it started religious, yeah. But it's parts that are super ghetto. Like I live there. We have a shooting on video that the police actually came to get the video from us. Because where my car was right next to the driveway, I have a video of some dude getting like shot at by this van, and then the cops came and then they took the video to identify and arrest the guy who shot him. Like, it was on 29th and Nazareth. It's this ghetto little hot little spot in Zion. You know, especially in the summer, it gets hot and people start shooting. So, and then we used to hang out with this crackhead called Hustle Man in Zion, who's been riding the streets of maybe not in Aurora, but Chicago. There's, you know, there's that neighborhood crackhead who's been there forever. Like, he was Hustle Man for like 20 years. He's still out there riding the streets for like 20 years on his bike, selling you VCRs and lawnmowers. Like, you see him in his bicycle dragging a lawnmower. But Waukegan and then Zion on and off for a few years is where I grew up.
Would you hang out with the paisas out there, or what was the crowd that you would hang out with?
It was I go in high school. It was a lot of norteños. Okay, you guys are both Mexican, right?
Yeah.
What parts?
Zacatecas.
In Jalisco.
In Jalisco, yeah. So,
Hidalgo.
yeah. So then Hidalgo. I'm thinking Sabina. Not Sabina is Hidalgo, right?
No.
The norteño people. So in high school, I hung out with the norteño people, right? All the Nuevo Leon people. I went to their dances, and then after high school, my friends were. I'd go out. Mexicans, like my core friends are Mexicans, and I have a group of Mexican Hondurans. Puerto Rican Hondurans. They're a family of half Puerto Rican, half Hondurans, because a pair of brothers married a pair of sisters. So 2 Puerto Rican brothers married 2 Honduran sisters. So my close friends. So I grew up with them, and just in like my 20s, it was going to the city or going to the little bars or clubs, the city club style bars, like in Waukegan. Up until a few years ago, you know what I mean? Like, 2019 is when I had my stripper incident. But before that, my friend opened a bar in Beach Park near Zion, and I was there. I was just thinking in my head, I was going like, oh, like once a weekend. But then when I thought about it and you look back, I was like, oh shit, I was there like Tuesday through Sunday some weeks.
Shit.
So I was going out a lot, you know. And I'm the type, I go out and I'll drink, but I still go to work. But I was going out a lot. But yeah, it's all Mexican. Like, I ran some shows there too. It was like, it's mostly Mexican now. A lot of Hondurans. Hate them, and yeah, a lot of Hondurans and Mexicans working, but the Hondurans are taking over.
Over Waukegan?
Yeah, unfortunately. Yeah, no, I can't say it. They're so slimy, and like my best friends are Hondurans, but they're very slimy. I think it's because Honduras is a fucked up place, and you got to you either have to be a narco or a dirty politician or something to make money there. It's just how corrupt it is. So I feel like you have the mentality, so they're always trying to get one up on you because it's how you grow up in this shit. That's my theory, because it's a hard place to live. So you kind of everybody fucks each other over a little bit, in my opinion, in the Honduran community, because you kind of have to do it, and it comes over here. I mean, but there's 2 good ones that I met maybe, but the other ones you watch out. Like, you're out in the bar and they're not buying the drinks, so they're super cheap, but it comes from back home. Like, you don't have shit. You know what I mean? In Hondu, at least parts of Mexico, you can do some shit, versus Hondu. Hondu sucks. I used to go like not every year, but I've been a few times to spend some New Year's.
Honduras?
Yeah.
We
would go to the mainland, San Pedro Sula, which is very violent. And then there's 2 islands that are very nice. Roatan, which is a popular spot where people go, and this other one called Utila. But the mainland, it's like there was a point where it was like up there with Karachi. It's up in the like per capita people getting killed in something.
And you went with your buddies, right?
Yeah.
It's not like you went out there blind and shit. So.
Yeah, I went with their buddies, and like they were friends of like I went to a wedding one time where the guy married the wedding because this guy married this chick because he wanted to get laid. She was a Muslim, and their parents were strict Muslims, so she would not get married until she wouldn't have sex until they married. So he married her. I had a big wedding. I went to the wedding. And they had sex, and the wedding was over within like a few weeks.
So he went up there.
Oh shit!
He married just to fuck, dude. And I was to the wedding and everything. I was just pictures of me, and it's a big wedding too. Black label everywhere and things like. We went to the bachelor party, the strip club, and then nope.
Is that how your love for strippers came to be?
How did no proximity? So I came to strip clubs here.
Let's say proximity.
Well, I tell you, how the strip clubs began for me was when I was young. I think I was exposed to porn a little bit too early. So then I had a thing like porn or
what
strip
do you mean
clubs.
by too early, though? Be specific.
It was before 13. It was before, I think I was prepubescent. I remember I saw videos or something. It was weird. I thought it was a lady eating like a turkey. And when I zoomed and looked back, I was like, she was giving some dude head. And I was like, what is it? It didn't make sense to me. And I did see it, and it kind of fucked with my head. And then I had the black box, We had the black box, so we had free fucking cable and all that softcore porn, and that's before I masturbated. So I would just sit there and watch it, and I'd get like a boner. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know. I was like, oh, this is cool, and I would just sit there and watch it, and that's it. I didn't put two and two together until afterwards. I don't think I even masturbated at the time. I was just watching. I was like, this is cool, and I never thought of. So then, strip clubs here. My first strip club I went to, I was like 15 or 16. I got a fake ID. My aunt got me a fake ID. And then I took that, and I had my other aunt drop me off at the strip club in LA. And I went in, and I was excited because I've been seeing it as a kid for the last I don't know how many years. I drive by, and I was like, now I have my fake. I'm finally going to go in. So, and I didn't get laid till I was 18. So it was like, that Porky's type of kid. Like, I'm trying to find the stuff. So I went in. As soon as I went in, the guy, he just grabbed I tried to give him my fake ID. He's like, get the fuck out of here. He's like, just go.
Oh, it didn't work.
Dude, I was young as fuck. Like, now that you're older, you see 16 or 17-year-olds like, holy shit, you're young, but you thought they looked older because when we were younger and they were on TV and you're 6 or 7, there's a fucking 25-year-old playing them. So you think they look older, but no, now you see them like, oh my God, they're like, these are kids.
Yeah, for
they're
sure.
young. So I was like, obviously he saw some fucking little, I'm like 15 and I'm going in there and I didn't grow, I didn't have a beard, and I was like, holy shit. So then he got me out, and then I remember I kept trying to go either get porn or like, I got porn one time, I got porn in a wheelchair. It was my plan. So I was like, there's a porn shop that was on the border kind of by Wisconsin and Illinois where I lived. And I had my friend, one of my best friends, broke his leg. And when I saw his broken leg, I was like, that's it. I have an idea. We're going to get porno because of your leg. So what we did is we went to the mall, to the Gurney Mills Mall. And if you have a cast, they give you a wheelchair. So I was like, all right, we're going to get the wheelchair. Then we got him. And then I was like, all right, let's go. We take the wheelchair, throw it in the trunk of my car, get in the car. We drive, 20 minutes north by the border in Wisconsin to the porn shop. And my plan is like, look, if I'm going to go in there in a wheelchair, there's no way this guy's going to card me. Why would you're not going to card you in a wheelchair. So I go in there, they're recording me. I'm there. I look at the videos. I grab it. I go to the register and I put the stuff, and he sees me in the wheelchair and he rings me out or whatever. And I'm like 17 or whatever age, I'm not, or 16. I'm like, I did it. You know what I mean? Like my first time I tried to go to a strip club, there was a place called Baby Dolls by right kitty corner to that porn shop. And me and my buddy went, and he turned 18 and I was still 17. And I brought my ticket and I did the eraser and I tried to change my birthday. And I was like, oh, I have a ticket on my ID, but they didn't let me. So he was in there and I was waiting. So like,
he was in there.
But I finally went in to the Admiral Theater in Chicago with my aunt's fake ID. It worked there.
Oh,
and
shit.
I went in there with coupons too. I had them printed out and I went and I was like, because, I didn't have sex and
What
get
coupons
laid.
would they give to a strip club?
Oh, if you go to the website, yeah. If you go, I don't know how they do it anymore, but there was plenty of times I'd go, and you go and you print out coupons to get for the cover because the Admiral doesn't sell alcohol. So places that don't have alcohol, they'll charge you a cover like $20 versus the non-alcohol places might charge you 5 or 10 or something like that. But they're making money off of booze. Where the other places, they need that cover money. They got to make money off of you. Like somehow,
Oh, gotcha. So it wasn't like 2 lap dances for one or something like that. Like, oh, okay.
No, it was coupons to get in for the cover because it was a $20 cover to the Admiral. So, yeah, my first time there, I was there with a fake ID, and I was like, it was. So I was always just searching for it, you know what I mean. And then when I'm older, I don't know how old you guys are, but the internet didn't have videos. The videos are slow. It was pictures, it wasn't like it is now. Porn wasn't free. Like that movie I bought was $50 or $60.
Damn.
Yeah, and it's like so for my birthday every day.
I hope you kept it, bro. 50.
Oh yeah. And I even liked that movie. It was weird. There's a clown in. I didn't like it, but
clown.
It had a good review because I had the porno magazines. I'd read like some of the reviews sometimes. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna get this one because it had a review. Because it's like now you could just look. Now you can go on all these tabs, pick any type of shit you're into, and go. But it wasn't like that back then. It was the internet was pictures. There was no good video. You had to download a video and you get a 2-minute clip that you had to download that took you an hour. I had a fucking. There's no, it was the AOL or the dial-up modems.
Yeah.
It was tough times for like young perverts like me. Like I was trying to, and I wasn't getting. It's not like I had a girlfriend. I didn't get laid till I was 18. So we used to cow tip and do like when you're not getting laid, you do all this crazy shit like cow tipping and try to find porno, wherever. Like,
Cow tipping, man.
we never did it. Like when we got there, like the cows were already fucking laying. They're already laying down and sleeping. I was like, I thought they were supposed to be standing up. I was like,
You gotta
legit,
introduce
dude.
them, bro. You didn't even introduce them.
This is Jhovany Diaz from Lobo Den Podcast.
There you go.
Yeah. I used to do comedy. I'm doing a little bit more comedy now in the winter, but I had a little break since the pandemic, but I got some shows coming up. When is this coming out? When do you guys release
This will be released next Wednesday. So.
next Wednesday? Okay. So I have a show at the Lincoln Lodge the 21st, Mi Gente with Mar McFly, who's Mexican, and I think his dad killed his mom or something. I don't know. But he was talking about it in the podcast, but he didn't say directly. And then I was like, and afterwards I was like, I listened to the podcast, hasn't come out yet. And I was like, did some weird shit happen? I didn't delve into it because he was like, it was dark and I don't talk to my dad and my mom died violently.
What?
And then afterwards I put it together. I was like, is that what happened? I don't know yet. You know, maybe if I drink with him after the show.
Was that one of your most
It hasn't come out
recent
yet. It hasn't come out
It
yet.
hasn't
Mar
come out yet?
McFly, no, it hasn't.
ones?
No.
You did have another one with somebody else, and they were talking about their dad, or I forget how it went.
Well, we're
We'll talk
comedians,
about
so
it.
yeah, comedians. So
Yeah.
I have weird relationships with our parents. You know what I mean? Like that's how you become a comic. Fucked up shit happens, and you become a comedian. No, you're not. Nobody's happy. Like, oh, I want to go do comedy. Usually, stand up comedy at least. There's something fucked. I didn't know. I've always been happy, but looking back, I guess to the outside world, I was like, all right, that maybe things were kind of fucked up growing up and things like that. Do you guys have a good childhood or?
I want to say it was a normal childhood, but now that you bring that up, it's kind of like you do got to be a little off, right? Because you have to be in front of a crowd and just constantly just
Yeah, it's a weird thing to be in front of like strangers to try and make them laugh. It's like yeah. So you got to be a little bit fucked up usually to start it or want to do it. You know.
right. How long have you been doing comedy for?
So I did comedy, I think like 6 years, and then I stopped during the pandemic. Everybody stopped, but I kind of didn't come back. I came back and did a few shows, but I kind of just, and then I just had a baby and whatever. But like, I think this winter I'm gonna do more shows. Like I've actually written, like I didn't write a joke for 2 years, nothing. So I would do shows, and then it was my same shit or crowd work. But now it's like, all right, I've kind of got a little bit of the bug. So I'm gonna write. I've written some stuff, and then I'm gonna do some shows and do some things. So,
Yo, when you write some shit, is it typically like, all right, I think this shit is funny? Or is it more like, all right, I think it's gonna be good, but I gotta try it? Or you kind of already know that shit's funny?
it's you gotta to a joke, at least in stand up, it has to hit the stage a few times to really develop. So usually how I used to do it, I would write, rewrite, put it on stage, and then when it goes on stage, it tightens up. Usually all the fat goes away because that shit you thought was funny when you're writing, you do it on, obviously it wasn't. Like, oh, that's not working.
Cross.
Yeah. And then, you go back and write it, and then the stage tightens it up because, like you'll say, you'll know right away if they're laughing or they're not. You know what I mean? So then the stage will tighten everything up, and then you'll go back and rewrite it. But like how I would usually do it is I kind of do it now is I think of something funny and I write it down. I was like, oh, that's funny. Or of a premise where I think, oh, that's funny or that's relatable. Like I want to make this funny. I want to talk about a thing and make it funny. I'll do that sometimes. Or sometimes they kind of come and you write it. But then now it's like, if it's not, I let things go right away. Like I used to hold on to jokes and ideas. And I would sit there, write and rewrite. And I spent weeks on stage. And then I was like, I don't even want to talk about this. Like, what am I? And then finally I figured out, like, why am I spending so much time about a subject I don't even care about? So now it's like, I gotta like it, and then you'll develop it on stage. Like what I did recently was I went on stage. I kind of wrote. I've never done this before. I wrote on stage. I had some premises. I went on stage. I worked them, and then I listened and rewrote. So that's what I did now, just because. And I wouldn't do this normally before, but now it's because I didn't feel like writing. I didn't feel like it. But now I did it and I wrote. So it's weird because you can only write and rewrite without hitting the stage for so long. Eventually, like, all right, it has to hit the stage. It has to hit a show or a mic, or if you're doing a show, you gotta throw it in the middle somewhere
To see what the fuck it's gonna do.
Yeah, you can't. You don't. If you're doing a paid show, you want to do material that works. But if you're not doing a lot of mics, you gotta develop the shit somewhere. So you throw it in there. You know what I mean? And then work it out on stage, and then rewrite. That's how I like to do it. So
How many times do you go through a joke before you start trimming the fat, as you say? Because like also I would assume the audience has something to do with it, right? Because sometimes you might get that like let's say it's a Latino joke,
Yeah.
and then your audience is not Latino, so they're not gonna get it. They're not gonna laugh. So it's like you can't trim the fat yet, right? You have to.
Yeah, and sometimes there's stuff like you like it, and it's funny because usually you don't write for the audience. Most comics don't write for the audience; they write for themselves, you know. So it's like, oh, this is funny. I like this. So, and then when you go on stage, okay, this worked, and if it didn't work, if you like it, you'll keep work on it, rework it until it works. If you don't like it, or at least I don't like it, I'll let that shit go or whatever. And then, or sometimes it makes me think like, oh, you know what, maybe this isn't that funny, or maybe I don't want to talk about this. But most comics, I think if now all comics kind of write for themselves. They don't write for the audience. You know what I mean? Like you make those mistakes sometimes, and you'll write for the audience, but basically you write for yourself, and then you figure that shit out. So if it didn't work, like if you really like it, all right, fuck, it didn't work. But like Chris Rock, that black people and N words, it took it didn't work for like a year or two, that bit. And how Chris Rock would do it is he'd go up on stage and he wouldn't do any of the cadences or in fact, he would just do it, just flat. He would perform it because he wanted just the material to work. And it took him, like that stuff did not work for a year, but he's like, I like this. And so it took a while to develop, but now it's like one of his best bits. But some stuff, it's like, you gotta, but it's funny because when I first started, all of my stuff was really weird. It was what was I talking about? I don't know. It was gross. I was talking about just like one time this comedian pulled me aside, who I hate. His name is Patrick Tomlinson. He has me blocked on Facebook. I think he's a sci-fi writer. And then I think Ben Shapiro blocked him too. But he's a sci-fi writer, and he's kind of one of those dudes to me. He's very uppity, but one time he did help me out because one time he pulled me aside after a mic, and I think I was talking about maybe my dad getting deported or something. And he was like, your dad got deported? Like, I've known you for 2 years. I never even knew this. You never even talked about this. Like, I was like, write about that stuff. Talk about that stuff. You're over there talking about jerking off or fucking mayonnaise or some stupid shit. Because in the beginning, you just write whatever. I have no idea what I was doing. And I was like, oh, he did change. Like up until like the last 2 years, I feel like I got okay. And I started writing stuff. Like I never wrote about myself up until maybe before the pandemic, 2 years before that or 3. And then like I was kind of turning the page. I was like, oh, and now it was weird, silly, kind of dumb shit. But now it's like, oh, like I write about like myself and my family.
Life.
Yeah, I don't like writing about topical stuff usually because if you notice, I don't know if you're friends with a lot of comics on Facebook, if something happens in the news, you go to their Facebook feed, you say the same fucking joke 5 times in a row. Like, oh, at least for me, all my comic friends, like winter is coming, Game of Thrones, and all these or some jokes, or it's disgusting.
What I was gonna ask you was, so you did mention like, oh, if you're getting paid for a show, like you got to go take material that works, right?
Yeah.
So
I'm not just gonna go there for the most. I'm not really gonna a mic or something. I'm not gonna go there and just fuck around.
So you have material that to you is timeless, like it'll work at any time. Like obviously, right now, people talking about COVID, that shit is not that funny anymore.
Yeah. So people have their sets. You know what I mean? And then so I never judge. I try not to judge comedians from what I see in an open mic because they're working to show out. Mm-hmm. And I try to judge them like, oh, when I see them in an actual show and see their actual show material, I was like, oh, it's different. Like, oh, that's like their set, And some guys will do their show set because they're trying to tighten it or change something, and that's fine. But like, if I'm doing a paid show, like I'm doing, my stuff that's gonna be good for the most part, but at the same time, I'm gonna enjoy myself, and then it might change up. I'll do some crowd work now, but generally, like you're there to perform and not like Mikey O. You guys know Mikey O. He's a big producer in Chicago. He does like all these great shows at like 200 something crowds at Joe's on Weed Street. He's like the big Latino producer in Chicago, promoter. Yeah.
Oh, I think he did, yeah.
So he doesn't like one of the rules. He's like he doesn't allow crowd work at his shows. Like these people paid. You know what I mean? They paid. They got babysitters, like you're gonna come and you're gonna do your material, not coming to my shows and doing crowd work. Mm-hmm. So he doesn't like, but crowd work
shit is real funny though, man.
Yeah, some of that stuff is great, you know what I mean? And that's his role. He's a producer of his shows. He does it but it's funny because I remember one time I was it actually pissed me off as a comic. I was at the Improv in Schaumburg and I paid for a ticket, and this one comedian, I forgot, he always does this thing where he kind of laughs like this. I can't think of his name, but he did all crowd work the whole time. And I don't mind. And I was like, sorry, I don't mind a little crowd work, but If I wasn't a comic, I would have been like, "Oh, that's so funny," blah blah. But then as a comic, and I'm watching it, and you know what's going on, I was like, "Motherfucker, like I paid for this." I felt pissed, dude. Like I want to hear some of your material. Like crowd work is great, you know what I mean? Like Vince Vito does some great crowd work because he does the boats now, and he does awesome crowd work. And I do crowd work sometimes, but it's like sometimes there's sets, but certain shows it's like, all right, motherfucker, like you can't do crowd work at an arena or a theater, like where I want to hear. Yeah, I don't mind it, but at the same time, like I want to hear jokes. And some guys that are very story or whatever, I don't care if it's stories, but I need punchlines for me. Like I tune out when somebody's not. If I don't hear jokes and punchlines and I'm watching somebody, you know, I kind of start tuning out a little bit. Like it's like, all right.
To bring it back to where you were talking about, like where you have obviously comedian friends and you start going down the thread and they all have like the same jokes, kind of, or similar.
Yeah.
So bringing like Carlos Mencia.
Yeah.
And that whole thing about like he was stealing jokes. So
he was Honduran. I told you they're all scumbags. When I found out that he was Honduran, it clicked like that. You know, really? I'm kind of joking, but I'm kind of not when I talk about Hondurans. You know, and most of my friends are Honduran and they know it, and they'll be like, "Yeah, okay, I get what you mean." Like they get it. You know what I mean? Like we know our people, like Mexicans, like we know what we're good at. And in general, everybody's different, but you know, but in general, like all right. This and that, but when I found out he was Honduran, it clicked. It made sense. And people don't know he was caught stealing jokes, and he would steal jokes from his from openers that were up and coming, so they couldn't really do shit, and he would steal their material. And to me, it's disgusting to me. I would never do it because that's not fun. Me personally, I don't like. I enjoy people laughing in the audience, and that's what I enjoy. Sure. But my favorite thing is creating something new. Like that's why I kind of quit comedy for a little bit because I didn't have an urge to write. Like I was hosting the show Mescal Mondays at Zany's, and I told my girl, I was like, all right, I'm gonna write some stuff for the next one. I didn't. All right, I'm gonna write some stuff, and I was like, man, I haven't. And then that's when I called the owner Brian Morton of Zany's, and I was like, hey man, I'm not gonna do this show anymore because it wasn't. I didn't want to just be doing the same shit over. So that's when I kind of chilled on stand up. And when I would do it, I would do stuff where I would just do crowd work or mess around. But it's like, I don't know. I feel like as people, like when you, nothing feels better than when you build some shit or accomplish shit or after work, like you did some shit and that was me. Like you feel good when like free money or something like that. Like that's why whoever wins the lottery, they're broke within a year because you didn't earn it, you didn't make it, you just get free shit. It doesn't feel the same. Or people get government housing, or people get free shit, or you give your sister or somebody a car. They're gonna take care of it. If you didn't work for it or whatever, it's not the same. If you didn't, those jokes that you built from like nothing to the fucking mics and when you were bombing or whatever, like that means something to you versus Carlos Mencia, that's probably a sociopath who he just wants the attention from people. You know what I mean? Like it's funny because I always want to be like, if I was a stand-up, I'd like to be famous but not known because I don't want to be seen. That's me personally. Like I would not want to be seen or recognized at places. It's kind of cool a little bit. Like you go, it's like, hey, Jhovany, but at the end of the day, I would prefer money and not a fame. Yeah. I like, give me money over fame. I'm like, I'm not a fame person. I need to be seen. I need to be because I enjoy it. I enjoy like the writing or whatever, and that's what it comes with. But if I could, like, you know, no, actually, I wouldn't say if I could perform with a mask, I would do it, but not really. Like, I want people to see my face. I am a little vain sometimes.
Mencia had to write some shit though, right? He had to have some talent. I don't think he would have stolen all of his bits from people, but I mean, who knows? I don't know, but
no, because I mean, he's still like a stand up, and but it's like
because his earlier shit was like really funny, you know. But
now he's out there and he's writing his own shit,
and it's garbage.
I don't know, but he's not. You know, I don't know. Maybe it fucked him up so much where he can never come back and be that big because he has that stigma. But I feel like Louis had that stigma. Louis C.K. He's back. He's doing the Chicago theater. He went from being canceled, doing clubs, which I'm so glad he got canceled, Louis C.K. because of that, I got to see him at a club. At Zany's, a small club, but if he didn't, you know, you could only go to theaters to see him. But now I got to see him. I was like, oh, thank God for jerking off in front of bitches. It was like I got to see Louis. It was great. I loved it. But then, you know what I mean? But he would. It was weird, but he did. It's not like.
Did you got to say what's up or no?
No.
Did you shake his hand?
I just see. No.
What'd you have?
It was sticky. No. But it was cool. I got to see him. You know what I mean? I'm the type where it's like. if I see you, I'll say hi or whatever, but I'm not like, let's take a picture. Unless, I don't know, sometimes I'm a little bit weird like that. It's like I want to kind of leave you alone and have your whatever. Unless maybe I saw Tiger Woods or something like that.
But it's more for them, not for you, right? You're more like, I don't want to bother them.
Yeah.
I
you
feel
know.
the same way.
Okay, yeah.
And then I have like cousins who are like, oh my God, it's take a picture. Like, leave alone. Like, let them be on a fucking airplane while you're taking a picture of that person. Like, quit bothering them. That's
I feel the same way.
Yeah, but it's yes. He,
No.
I might ask for a picture, bro.
Yeah?
I might. Yeah, depending
it
who it is.
depends who it is. You know what I
Depending
mean?
who it
Like,
is, I might
who
ask
is
for
there
a
a celebrity you guys would really want to meet? Like, mine's Tiger Woods.
Oh man,
And I could have met Tiger Woods, but I
That's
fell
a good
asleep.
question. You fell asleep.
I fell asleep. So Tiger Woods, like I said, I caddied. We both caddied. There was at Cog Hill in Lamont, a famous golf course. They had the BMW. It used to be the Western Open. They had it every year. So on Wednesdays, caddies that were potentially up for the Evans Scholarship, they would go and caddy for the members in the pro-am. The members would play with pros. So it's a pro-am. It's a 5-sum. 4 regular amateurs and a professional on the tour. And we got our group or my friends' groups. I was going to walk along with him was Tiger Woods, and he just got lucky. It's random, and I was like, "What?" So then I went and Cog Hill has like 4 different fucking courses. So I went by this course and I'm waiting for them. Like, are we gonna go here and then we're gonna go tee off? So I'm waiting, and I don't see them. I didn't realize like they were teeing off on the back 9 and it was over here. And I was like, man, where the fuck they at? Fuck it. So I went in the car and I fell asleep because I don't know if they couldn't have their cell phones on or something like that, or for whatever reason, I was like, I went to the car and I napped, and they were out with Tiger, and I didn't get to see Tiger because I don't know, I was young, and it's not more. I was like, I should have asked around, but sometimes you're like kind of nervous, and it's like I don't know what's going on, where I'm at, and I'm supposed to be there, but not really. I was gonna walk along the
you're
ropes
just
with
gonna
them,
walk around. Yeah.
And then
The most famous person I saw was Jordan, bro. He went tee off at Medina. And I was probably like from here to the chair, bro. Yeah, it was close. But I mean, I wasn't even supposed to be standing there, because they tell you like
same shit happened with Jordan.
Don't try to take pictures. Don't try to do shit.
I fell asleep. I overslept on Jordan.
Really?
Jordan was at Merritt Club, and me and my friend were gonna caddy the next day at Merritt Club for some tournament in Gurney Merritt Club because Jordan's also a member of Merritt Club. Our dumbasses got drunk and slept in, and we didn't caddy. And we're gonna be in the tournament. And the next day, he's like, "Hey, Jordan was at the club," and I was like, "You fucking kidding me?" Like, yeah, dude.
I got to see him pretty close. But at the time, I don't even think cell phones had. I had like a Kyocera, bro.
Oh, you had you a cellular?
Yeah, it didn't have like a camera or anything like that, dude. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was back then, bro. But I still got to see him up close, But
That's cool, though.
I mean, it was cool, but I mean, it was whatever. I don't know. Like, I'm more like, man, let it be. I don't want to be that person. Like, oh, let me take a picture with you.
Yeah,
They're probably like, get the fuck.
it's just
out of
Tiger
here.
for me. Like Tiger, I really like.
Maybe I had to really think hard, bro. Who would be your person if you were gonna ask for a picture?
I think Jordan for one, for sure. Now that you bring it up, but I think right now because of the pod,
Tekashi 6ix9ine.
oh, you know it, bro. You know it. No, Rogan.
Oh,
man.
Rogan.
Hey, that would be a cool one.
I think I saw Rogan. So if you guys ever, so I don't know if you listen to Rogan talk about the Comedy Store, how it used to be.
Yeah.
In LA, man, that it was true, dude. Like, so you go in the OR, the original room, and you go by the bathroom, and there the comics are waiting. So like, it's funny. I would go to LA to visit my grandma, and then my family, and then I'd go to the Comedy Store. I'd be like, "Oh, I'm leaving. I'm going to." I'd go by myself. I get the ticket. And I sit there till 2 a.m, watch all the comics. But in that time, like, it's funny. I saw Bill Burr. I saw Bobby Lee. Who's the indie guy from Canada? I forgot. Russell Peters. Like,
Russell Peters.
all kinds of people. Right. The guy who killed himself. I saw him.
Who?
He's like, yes. He was friends with Rogan. He's like, yes. He was bald. He killed himself a few years ago. He was famous within that scene. Like Rogan
he
and the
committed
friends.
suicide? Or
He committed suicide. Brody
Did you
Stevens.
just-
His name was
did
Brody
you say,
Stevens.
he gone?
Oh yeah, he gone. Yeah. Shout out to Hawk Harrelson. He gone. We've been saying, my friends have saying that he gone. The fucking White Sox. If people don't know,
Oh,
like,
hell no.
if you watch a White Sox game, Hawk Harrelson would be
fool,
on
but
there.
We were
and
talking about suicide. You're like, he gone.
he gone. So I use it a lot for he gone. Suicide and other things.
Okay.
But you go. I saw Rogan. There's this car. There's everybody hangs out in the back of the Comedy Store, or they did. I don't know how it is now. LA is such a shithole, but it was. That's everybody was there. It's a cool. You see. I went there and I saw Bobby Lee and a bunch of Bill Burr and a bunch of people for like a $20 ticket versus I had to come and see Bill Burr at the Chicago Theater for $60 or whatever dollars where the Comedy Store, because that's where they would work out and
That's
practice.
LA though, bro.
Yeah, it's LA. That's their
everybody's
background.
in Hollywood. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
So that's what was cool
I
about
get
it.
it. Yeah, that's dope.
Yeah.
I would come to think about it. But you know what? He gives you that vibe like he would be cool with a picture though.
I would hope so, bro.
It would be.
I would
That's how
hope
he
so.
acts on the pod or like on
He
anything
would
else,
be
right?
because I feel like I get where people come from, celebrities come from, where you're there, you're at a certain thing, but sometimes it's like if you're eating with your family, especially with your kids, that's when I feel like, you know, fuck off a little bit, like especially with your kids or something like that, like maybe after or just say hi, but no, like if they're with your friends, it's eating too. It's like, all right. Because eating is an important thing to me, like having a dinner and sitting and like it's a thing where it's like you worked, you whatever. Now you're gonna have your dinner, and it's like I'll say hi or whatever, but at the same time, like I'm trying to eat, so and I get angry.
I
if I'm
agree with
hungry.
that though. I don't think I would bother him if he was eating, but like if I did see him out like random, like at a comedy club or just walking the street,
Yeah, or see the
airport or whatever, I think I would, bro. I would ask Rowan for a pic.
Yeah.
That's just me though.
I think I would too.
I'd be like, let's take a nude.
Would pic.
Let me see your fucking Neanderthal penis. Let's see what you got. Wop.
What the fuck?
Are there a lot of Italians here in Aurora?
Like I said, I barely know my streets around here. I don't know. Bro. I don't think so.
Which camera am I looking at?
You're that one over there.
This one right here?
Yeah.
The Fuji? Okay. Happy Columbus Day. My son's 6.25% Italian. So I just want to shout out and say happy
you're
Columbus.
part Italian?
No, my son is. His mine. I know, I'm spick. So apparently my dad was a coyote. He's in Mexico. He got deported by Obama.
And he's a coyote?
He was a coyote.
Well, that's badass,
Yeah,
bro.
my dad was a coyote.
So he was helping tons of people.
Yeah, I don't know if they're helping him. Like,
Well, now they're not, but back then they were.
yeah, but he was at least he was like ethical. Like he didn't, because you know it's funny. People make fun of the border, like the border. If you, I don't know if you know people that worked in the border, but the border is a horrible place. My friend was a border patrol agent, and he got out of that shit. He was like, you know, there's coyotes don't give a fuck. Like there was trucks, he said, of people that would go off of hills and just like the Dentons, all those people in Denton, Texas that got left in that trailer and they
Bus.
died.
Yeah, trailer and a bus.
Yeah, so like that's why it's like, all right, like black markets create like really fucked up shady shit
Right.
versus either like that's why it's like, all right, it's like I know like this Honduran maid, she came back. These two Honduran people that came in.
You going in, bro. You going in on the Hondurans.
No,
bro.
well, she came in, like we helped her
Oh, you helped her get in the country?
yeah, through Coyote and up through Mexico. And she was like, luckily nothing happened to her and her daughter, but they came together. But you see all these people get raped. Like this other dude came, this younger, you know, you come out, they came with asylum. So you just got to get there. Cause I picked her up from Chicago when she made it to the detention center or whatever. I picked her up that day. It's
Oh,
funny.
your
'cause-
dad hit you up like, hey, you'll go pick these people up.
No, this is after. So this is after my dad got deported. But these are people I knew in Honduras that we and my friends helped come to the U.S. So I remember I picked her up and then she was telling me the stories like had some fucked up shit down that happens over there. So it's not all like, wait, what were we talking about? Joe Rogan?
It's fucked up. We went all the way. Actually, before I forget, bro, something separate.
Oh, Christopher Columbus Day. Happy Christopher Columbus Day.
That is what you said.
Yeah.
I ran into somebody from church that is coming not from Honduras, bro. Where the fuck is he coming from?
El Salvador?
No. Venezuela, bro.
Oh, yeah, they eat dogs over there. So.
They do.
So he was telling me about his. We were
yeah, Venezuela's fucked up.
we
It's
linked
not
up-
North Korea, but fuck.
It's close.
It's clear.
Yeah.
We linked up at a carnival, bro. Just started talking because our kids were on a jumpy thing, and he started telling me about his journey, bro. So I was like, "Yo, dude, we got a podcast, bro. You gotta come tell your story, dude, because it was wild, bro.
His journey from
His
Venezuela
journey from
to-
Venezuela to come here, bro.
Because you got to go through Mexico.
He
probably
went
had
through
to go
Mexico
through
too, yeah, but he was
Central.
more like through the jungle. He's like the jungle was the wildest shit, and it was him, his girl, and his son. His son had to be like 1.5, 2 years old, bro.
Damn.
Going through the selva, bro. He's like, yeah. He started telling me a little bit about it. I was like, man, you really got to come on the pod. But he's only a Spanish speaker, bro. So it's gonna be a little rough, but it'll be dope.
Put some subtitles on it. Fuck it.
YouTube
can on
YouTube will
YouTube, you
switch
know?
it to English.
Oh,
bro, if
really?
you're-
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh,
put it on.
yeah,
So-
yeah.
But it would be a good story. I just didn't want to forget about that thought, bro.
Yeah, Venezuela. Like I knew. Yeah, Venezuela. Like I knew a dude. He was a doctor, but now he works at a factory. But he was in Venezuela. But like Venezuela, like places like that, like Venezuela, how Poland used to be, like
Yeah.
you know, communist places. Like this is what you're gonna do. Everybody's watching you. Like I remember I had somebody. My friend's dad, we had a dinner and he went to Cuba for work. He lived in Mexico, and I remember he was there, and they were all eating at a table, And none of the people were like touching any of their food, like barely. But they were giving him all this stuff. And he's like, what's going on here? He's like, oh, we're not allowed to eat this and do that. So he's like, I'm not eating until they're allowed to eat. Because, it's portion control. So you only get so much food. You get the old cars. And he was like, it's not like it is over here. Like, you got everybody watching you in the corner. Like, you've seen Scarface, right? You got everybody watching you in the corner. Like, they watch us now, but it's like, you don't have privacy. You know what I mean? You can't go against, like, at least here, whoever's in office, you could talk shit about him, but you can't.
You can't do that over there at
You
all.
can't.
Yeah, no, fuck that.
Fucking shoot your ass, dude. Or they come to your fucking house, dude.
Yeah. Changing it up, bro. I wanted to ask for your opinion about what happened with like Will Smith and Chris Rock.
Oh, Will Smith and Chris Rock.
Because I don't think we asked Ken.
No, we didn't.
And I wanted to hear like from your perspective as a comedian. Like I know like sometimes you guys bomb and whatnot. It doesn't compare, right? But something like that, man, where you get someone to come up and fucking hit you and shit like that.
It's what I hate about it is how like Will Smith got a standing ovation afterwards. All those fake Hollywood people were like, oh, like you don't do that. First of all, and it's funny because people get pissed off when people get mad or angry at me. Usually they have shit with themselves that they got to figure out, and that's what they take it out on you, which Will Smith did. You know what I mean? He had his own issues with him and Jada, right? It's like, all right, you have your issues with your wife and you feel she's been attacked. Now you feel you have to defend her. Because if you watch the video, he laughed at the joke.
Yeah.
And then she turned at him, and then he did that look, and it was like, oh, he thought it was funny, you know what I mean? And now he's like, oh, I feel like I need to defend. And I had to go up and over to defend. It's like, it's that dude at the club, you know what I mean? Like, oh, now I gotta prove it. And it's like, you're not secure. And then it was a bad precedent, because I can't say that word ever right. Because then, like a little bit afterwards, that one dude tried to attack Chappelle, but they weren't having it. Remember, they tackled that guy. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, I just, if people, like, a few times I've been having attacked on stage. I had one guy was in Portage, Indiana, and the owner was wasted and he was heckling all the comics. So I started making fun of the owner when I was on stage. And one of this big dude, he's like, you better stop talking about Jim or I'll punch you in the face. And I was like, do it. It was like, and I told the other audience, it was like, did you hear that? He wants to punch me in the face. And he started yelling at him because half of the room wanted to pay attention, watch comedy. And just the owner and this guy were just, people are, like I said, they're not happy with themselves. Yeah. So, because after the show, the owner was like, I'm sorry, I'm going through a lot right now. Like, he's going through it and he's taking it out on us. And I told that dude, was like, look, I'm getting paid to do 20 minutes. I'm doing my fucking 20 minutes. So if you want, you can come over here and swing on me. But he didn't, you know what I mean? Like, but if he would have, like, I was ready. So, but if anybody who sees me on the show and wants to attack me, I would shoot you probably. I have a concealed carry, so fuck off. Don't touch me.
Oh shit.
But like, don't. Yeah, like
I knew there was a lot of fucking bags, dude. I was like, what the fuck is going on right now, dude?
I'll fucking shoot you, dude. But it's like, yeah, it's sad, and then it's people, and it's a joke, you know what I mean? Like, it's not a threat. It's not like he went up to his wife, and then like he's like, if you're at a bar or whatever, and then there's a dude who is constantly badgering or something. It's not like he was there badgering. He's making a joke. He's made jokes before. Like, it's what you pay the guy to do. And
right.
There's a good bit with Patrice O'Neal where he's on Fox News. He's talking about like a good joke, or a joke that kind of doesn't fit. They come from the same place. You know what I mean? So you don't always know if they're gonna hit or not, but you got to give people the opportunity to try to develop it or something like that. Because people say like, oh, that was a horrible joke. Nobody would find that funny. Yeah, but he was trying, you try to make things funny. You're trying to do something. Like, when people say, this is one thing, it's like, oh, you can't joke about that. In my opinion, you can joke about anything, right? Some people might get offended by it. Some people, and it's fucked up, but there's nothing, to me, there's nothing off limits. And that's the point of humor. Like, there's some shit that fucks up, and so you make a joke about it. Like, I think that's how I kind of became funny, because I don't deal with my emotions. I was not hugged as a kid. You know what I mean? So whenever I'm in an uncomfortable, when I was younger, an uncomfortable situation, I would joke about it. That was my thing. That's probably how I got into being funny or whatever, because, I'm uncomfortable. I went to the funny instead of dealing with my emotions or things like that. I was like, nope, I'll just make a joke. I don't want to deal with any of this shit. So fuck Will. I don't like Will Smith. And I can't watch movies. Well, it's weird because I liked Will Smith, but I can't. And I have empathy for people because it's like, oh, he's going through and he's to figure his own shit out. but it's
So since then, you haven't been able to watch a Will Smith movie, or was it already?
I can't. You know what I mean? I like it, it's hard for me because after that, it really changed, and I hate. And then they gave him the award and everything, and he had the apology, and they all stood for him. Like, nah, he went up there, and sucker, and he sucker punched fucking Will Smith or sucker slapped or whatever, like
Chris Rock
You know? And it's like somebody should shit in your face.
Yeah,
put it on TikTok.
I have another one. T.I. started doing comedy. I don't know if you heard about it.
Yeah.
And I think he got upset because I think they were heckling him, but it's like it's part of what happens, right? As you as a comedian.
So it's funny. Remember Michael Richards said the N-word, Kramer, right?
Yeah.
So this is what happened. Like when you're famous, and you see in the movie Comedian with Seinfeld, you see this. When you're famous, they give you about 30 seconds to a minute of like, oh shit, it's T.I. or oh, it's Jerry Seinfeld or oh, it's Kramer as a stand-up. And then it's like, it gets quiet. And they're like, okay, what's next? If you don't come with the jokes or whatever, like people are there to pay to laugh. And it's funny because that whole Jesus Christ could come up and do stand-up, right? And for the first minute, they're like, oh my God, it's Jesus, the Lord and Savior. But after that minute or two, people don't give a fuck who you are. It's like
to the next level with it.
Yeah. I was like, all right, motherfucker.
Our Lord and Savior.
Yeah, it's like it's like, okay, are you gonna make us laugh? Jesus Christ will get heckled. They'll throw the little Jesus chips from the church, and like, it doesn't matter who you are if you're not. If you're not.
This guy's wilding, bro. Just in case y'all didn't know what Jesus Christ he's talking about. He's talking about your Lord and Savior.
Yeah,
bro.
not your cousin or something like that. But yeah, Lord,
you're wilding, bro.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter who you are. I had to go to the extreme example, but you get as a famous person or as Lord and Savior, you get about a minute. You know what I mean? Of like, holy shit, blah, blah, blah. But then it's like,
you got to bring on the funny.
You got to bring, because it's funny. You tell a joke, people laugh. Even as a comedian, people laugh or whatever. And then the laughter just goes away. And then it's like, what's next? You know what I mean? It's not like a musician or whatever. Where you can, like, with comedy, like, think about it. You're in a group of strangers, all sitting there just looking at you. And they're like, all right, what's next? Makes us laugh. It's not like, and it's funny, a lot of comedians got upset that comedians get upset that T.I. does comedy. Comedians get upset that other like non-comedians, like it's funny, at an open mic, people get upset if people aren't real comics and blah, blah, blah. So you're at an open mic and they get upset who's going up because it's like, oh, they're taking my stage time. And I'll give this advice to comics. If you're at an open mic and you're upset, it's called an open mic. Anybody can sign up. And if you're at the level where you're doing open mics, not shows, it's something you have to deal with. If you don't want to deal with people not signing up, get better and funnier. So you're just doing book shows. You don't have to deal with that shit. It's simple as that. Comics are very incredibly sensitive and they're cowards. Like a lot of there's a few of us that aren't, but a lot of cowards, especially on the north side of Chicago.
You got to go through it though, right?
Yeah. You got to go through it, and if you there's a lot of, it's funny. There's a lot of complaining and it's funny, and you feel that as a comic. We're like, oh, I should get booked. I didn't, but eventually, when you get better is when you just focus on being a better comic and writing and whatever, and not in anything. Like you're not going to get better complaining. You don't see Michael Jordan wasn't on Facebook complaining about other people. He was getting good at basketball. They didn't have it at the time, but people that are successful like that, they're not the ones that are writing like, oh, that joke that's not a proper joke or blah blah blah. They're getting funny and they're writing. They're not complaining about things. You know what I mean? Or about T.I. getting on. All right, he went on stage. Let him do it. Like at one point you didn't do comedy. Now you're doing it.
And that's true, bro. Because when I went to see a show, the last time I went to see a show, the dude from In Living Color was there. The bald guy with the overalls. I don't know if you've ever seen.
Maybe
the show.
Damon Wayans.
No, it wasn't Damon Wayans.
No, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it was. I forgot his name, man. He always would be in overalls. He was like the handyman.
I know there was Damon, Keenan Ivory. No, Keenan Ivory had hair. I feel like it wasn't Damon Wayans.
Nah.
No.
Because I remember there was two dudes with little hats. One of them was David Allen Greer, and the other one was Damon Wayans.
And he was the better. So out of everybody
Black
else,
dude, right?
Yeah. All the other people were like very average or sucked. And then he was like the main show, and he came on and he fucking delivered, dude. And not only the fact that he was famous or been on a famous sitcom,
yeah,
but you are expecting that, like you said, the whole delivery. And I mean, he was the best out of everybody that stood up that night, you know?
And I'll give some other advice. One time, comics do this to themselves. They like to blame the audience a lot of times. But sometimes, yeah, some audiences are shittier than some audiences are so good that it makes you feel like you're better than you are. You just say shit and they start laughing. You know what I mean?
Right.
So that happens. You know, you're going to have those good and bad shows, but it's a trap. If you're a comic and you're upcoming, don't blame the audience, because if you don't, if it's always the audience, then you're not gonna get better. Like I remember I saw a show and I was doing that. I was at a show and it was like everyone was doing bad. Nobody did anything good. And I was like, man, in my head I was like, it's just the audience tonight. It's not gonna work. And I saw Jim Flanagan. He's really funny, local Chicago guy. He's a podcast with Pat McGann, and he's been on my podcast. I forgot the episode, but he went up and he just killed in front of everybody. And I was like, and I'm glad I saw that because it kind of put me in my place. I was like, all right, Jhovany, you're complaining. Like, you could be better, obviously. It's like, there are bad answers, but it's, if you blame, like in anything else, if you start blaming everybody else, you're not going to get better. You're not going to look at yourself and be like, oh, what can I do better? You know, you're just going to be like, fuck. I'm going to just go listen to some Tekashi 6ix9ine and eat ice cream.
I'm starting to think you're a fan, dude.
I was say you keep bringing them up, man. So you're gonna dye your hair soon, aren't you, bro?
No, I was gonna do it at one point, but
really, were you?
I go in phases. I had short hair, now I'm growing a mullet. I get phases what I want to do, but no, like Tekashi. I'm not a fan of the music. You know what I mean? Or maybe anything. I don't know. But I remember, I heard it, and it's one of the songs. Like, it's not for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it was cool. He's Mexican, New York, and he got famous. He made his money, and I'm curious about his childhood. What happened where he went straight 6ix9ine like that? But
fuck, who the fuck knows?
Because think about it, we're all of us like we are here we are because some shit, how we grew up, or some shit happened, or our parents, you know.
Oh, of course, 100%.
Or like, you know, or some girl's really good in bed because her dad wasn't there, or something like that. Like, there's always some shit like, oh, that's why she's eating my ass because her dad wasn't around, so she's a great ass eater now, you know. So don't be there for your kids. All these strippers, you think their dad was around that I've had sex with? No, obviously. Don't be there for your parents.
MIA.
But I know I'm now that I have a kid, I'm like, I resent people who aren't there for bad parents. It disgusts me. You know what I mean? So I hate bad parents. Now that I'm a dad, you know, it's like, how can you be a bad, whatever. But that's to each your own.
Well, this is the time, bro, to plug in all your stuff, man. That way people can follow you, which I definitely recommend. You got your own pod, you're a comedian. Where can they look you up?
Yeah, so check out the Lobo Den Podcast, Instagram. I have a Patreon. It's only $3 a month to support. I'm going to put out. So right now it's like, look, I'm not putting a lot of Patreon content, but everybody's getting a lot of free content. Like every episode, every week, it's a different Chicago comedian, like a lot of heavy hitters. So check it out, support. And then I have gear, but I'm not good at selling it. But if you DM me, I could probably sell it. I have it. I'm just sitting on it. I'm bad. I work a lot, so give me a break. But yeah, Instagram, Lobo Den Podcast. Tell a friend. If you want something, DM me. I have stickers, or I'm getting new stickers I can hand out. And then I have shows coming up. So yeah, the 21st, I have that Me Henta show at Lincoln Lodge where I record. And I'm thinking about doing a live one. It's soon. I'm working on a live one. So just, go on the Instagram, check it out, and don't DM me too much because I'll start DMing you and be active, and then I'm bad on Instagram. Maybe Facebook, but Instagram.
Facebook?
I fade out. Yeah, Instagram, I don't. Sometimes I don't even look at my messages. I get pretty bad. But Facebook Messenger, I'm not bad. Jhovany Diaz. And check out the Lobo Den group on Facebook, only if you want horrible, aggressive, disgusting memes. The Lobo Den group. If not, stay away because you'll not like me as a person anymore if you see some of those memes. But they're funny.
Dark humor.
I had a question about the name. Like, where'd the name come
from? My dad's nickname was Lobo Tejano. So that was his nickname.
So he was a coyote, but they called him Lobo?
Yeah, Lobo Tejano was his nickname. So they call him Lobo. And then our first dog we got was a Rottweiler named Lobo. He got sent to Arizona or killed or something happened to him. And I was upset and bitter they got rid of my dog. So out of spite, my parents had tattoos. I was 18. I drove across the border in Wisconsin. You can get a tattoo 18. I got a Lobo tattoo on my back. And eventually, you start picking up the name. Like, you know, my dad was Lobo, and they used to call me Lobito, and eventually it became my nickname. Man. So I was like, I looked up the Wolf Den when I first got it started, but the Wolf of Wall Street, the cocaine dude, he has a Wolf Den podcast. So I was like, oh yeah, Lobo Den. So that's how Lobo Den started.
Got it. I wanted to find out. I was like,
for sure. Yeah,
and you say it's super fucking fast, so I couldn't catch it at first. I was like, what the fuck is this
guy
saying?
Yeah, I talk way too fast. So let me slow down.
All right, say it slow then.
Take a barbiturate. The Lobo Den. I have such a Chicago accent. The Lobo Den Podcast.
There we go.
From Chicago. No ketchup on your hot dogs.
Sure.
Yep.
You got anything before
Hey, thanks for coming, bro.
All right, thank you guys for having me.
Fun time.
All right.
we? Yeah. So this is Compas Unfiltered. Thank you for listening and watching. Estamos por acá. Doses.